Shalom from the heartland of the world, from Israel, the center of the world. My name is Ishai Harel, and today we're learning about Hanukkah, according to the essays that Rav Kook has written on different Chagim festivals. The book is called In Those Days at This Time, and it is composed by Gideon Weitzman. Rav Kook has a really fresh look on how we should think about and consider what happened on Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the feast of the miracle, the feast of the light, the Chag of the light. And one great miracle, actually two great miracles happened in the time of Hanukkah. And the Gemara asks the question, what is Hanukkah? By itself only, the question, what is Hanukkah, is already a very rare question of the Gemara, because with no other Chag, not with Pesach, not with Shavuot, not with Purim, the Gemara asks, what is Hanukkah? But still here, the Gemara asks, what is Hanukkah? So let us look and see what the Gemara says about Hanukkah and what Rav Kook wants us to teach, what we can learn from him. The rabbis taught us that from the 25th of Kislev, we have to celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days. And in these 8 days, we cannot fast nor be sad. Because when the Greeks entered the temple, they defiled all oil. They destroyed everything in the temple. And there was nothing left. When the Chasmonaim strengthened and overpowered the Greeks, they could find only one jug of fine oil with the seal of the Kohen Gadol on it. The oil of the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash was very special. It has specific measurements of what we could put in it and what we could let out of it. And there was just one jug of that oil. It was the finest olive oil that could exist. It was oil of every first pressing, and only the first few drops of every pressing of a bunch of olives, only so let's say we put 5 kilo olives in a press, and we turn the press, and we wait for the first drops of oil, and only the first few count for being as pure enough to be used in the temple. Also, it has to be produced in tahor circumstances, in pure circumstances, and not unclean, impure circumstances. So when every acquirement was reached while producing the oil, then when they put it in a jug, the seal of the Kohen Gadol was pressed on it, and it was ready to use for the menorah. That process of pressing, only using the first few drops, pressing in pure sacred circumstances, that took at least 8 days. So that's the reason when we found only one jug of oil, we had to wait 8 days. because there was no quicker, sooner method to produce oil. The, the oil that was needed for lightening the menorah, uh, Hashem says to Aaron, when you kindle the candles towards the face of the menorah, all 7 lights have to be lit. It's in Bamidbar 8:2. In Shemot 27, it talks about the pure oil. A sufficient amount of special pure olive oil was placed in the cups at the tip of the branches of the menorah every evening. So now we know, if we ask the question, the Gemara asks the question, what is Hanukkah? It is the feast of where we had to wait 8 days for the new produce pure tahor oil, shemen side. And during those 8 days, the 1 jug of olive oil that we had served for the whole menorah for 7 days, for 8 days. But it doesn't answer the complete question, what is Hanukkah? We know what happened, but is this what we celebrate at Hanukkah? No, it's not the complete answer. The Gemara replies with an answer that focuses on the miracle, but does not explain what the festival is. So Rashi explains that his opinion is that the question should be asked in a different way. The question should be, for what miracle did the rabbis establish Hanukkah as a holiday? Rashi explains so Rashi explains to us why we celebrate the festival, for what miracle. And the answer for which miracle do we celebrate Hanukkah would be for the miracle of the oil. But Rashi implies that there is more than one miracle taking place during that time, which all the other miracle, the miracle of the victory. And which victory, which war was there was being fight during that time? Well, every year during the 8 days of Hanukkah, we add to the Shmoneh Esrei prayer an extra prayer commemorating the miracle of the victory of Hanukkah. So let's read it together. Let's read it in English. This prayer is known as the Ol Al Hanisim. For the miracles, and for the salvation, and for the strength, and for the victories, and for the wars that you performed for all our fathers in those days, in this time. In the time of Mattiyahu, the son of Yochanan, the Kohen Gadol, the Hasmonai, and his sons, when the wicked Greek kingdom rose against your people Israel, to make them forget your Torah and draw them away from your will, you mercifully stood up for them in their time of need. You fought their fight, judged their claim, and took revenge for them. You gave the strong in the hands of the weak, the many in the hands of the few, the impure into the hands of the pure, the wicked into the hands of the righteous, the tyrants into the hands of those who keep your Torah. You made a great name for yourself in the world and a great victory for your people. Afterwards, your children came to your house, cleaned up your sanctuary, purified the temple, and lit the lights in your courtyard. They established these 8 days of Hanukkah to thank and to praise your great name. So we see in this prayer, there is no mention of the miracle of the oil. What is mentioned is the prayer describing a victory in battle against the Greeks and the Hellenists, guided by God. The victory was, the war was guided by God, the victory was given by God. He delivered us from the Greeks, from the Hellenists, which oppressed us and destroyed our Torahs, destroyed our holy books, desecrated the Beit HaMikdash by offering pork and offering to idols into the Beit HaMikdash, and all kind of terrible things they do, which you can also read yourself if you want to know the whole story of Hanukkah. You should read the books of the Maccabees, where it is all explained. Very interesting. You can find it, for example, on sifria.com. So you write Sepharia, and you can find all kind of books, Sidorim, the Torah, the Talmud, and other books here in English or in Hebrew, or both. And here you can also find in the section of the Tanakh the story of Hanukkah, of the Maccabees, the book of the Maccabees. Okay, so we won the war against them, and that was a natural victory. And we got a spiritual victory, and we got a miraculous miracle of victory with the menorah, with the 8 days of oil just from one jug of oil. So we praise Hashem on Hanukkah for the oil and for the victory over the Greek and the Hellenist. So Rav Kook compares Hanukkah also to the story of Yosef, which is in this week's parasha. And let's see how he explains it. Joseph was thrown into a pit, and in that pit there were scorpions and snakes. And scorpions and snakes attack whether they are hungry or not. If they see a prey or they feel endangered, they attack. So logically, Joseph would have been attacked in the pit, though nothing happened. Hashem saved him miraculously. The other thing that Hashem did for him was in the natural course of his life, when he was brought unto Egypt, and through explaining dreams and through the hand of Hashem, he eventually became the highest underneath Pharaoh. He became like the second Pharaoh. And he became very important through all those difficult years, which Hashem used to give him that victory. Just so he had a miracle he had the hand of God in his life in a miraculous way and in a natural way. So it's Hanukkah in a miraculous way with the oil, and in a natural way when we won the war against the Greeks. So both the Hanukkah story and the story of Joseph contain those miraculous and natural wonders and events, which are both and all divinely inspired. So this explains the connection between the story of Joseph and the story of Hanukkah. Uh, but what about the relationship between those different types of miracles, the natural one and the miraculous one? Who needs a miracle anyway? Why didn't Hashem just make them find 8 jugs of oil so that we could light the menorah 8 days in a normal way while we made new oil? Why did Hashem find it necessary to just give us 1 jug of oil? Um, the answer to both questions is the same. Both Joseph and both the pious Jews of Hanukkah needed a miracle. They needed to feel and to see and to experience the miraculous help of Hashem. That miracle built their emunah. In their strength, by divine inspiration, they fought a war, a natural war. But they needed also that miracle to be sure that Hashem was with them in whatever situation, and that He have seen their situation, and that He took them out of that situation. He provided what was needed. And that's why Hashem chose to give us a miracle, both to Joseph in the pit and to us at Hanukkah, which the time what we know as Hanukkah, but to the Maccabees. So how did the Maccabees fighting the Greeks and the Hellenists know that God was on their side and not of the Hellenists? How did Joseph know that God was with him and supported his claim against the brothers? Maybe the brothers were right and he was just a dreamer. Maybe. But Hashem did show to Joseph, and Hashem showed the Maccabees that he was in control and that he gave them that miracle and that he didn't forget them and that he was content with the Maccabees and he was content with Joseph. He was there. That was what Hashem said to Joseph. I am here. I see you're in the pit. I take you out. There's a difficult road ahead of you, but you are going to overcome all the things on this road, and I will bring you to great heights. To the Maccabees, Hashem wanted to tell them, I am with you. They fought a very hard natural fight, and they overcame the Greeks and the Hellenists. They took back the Beit HaMikdash. They purified the Beit HaMikdash. They put back the menorah in his honor. And when they wanted to light it, there was just 1 jug of oil. That was the moment that Hashem said to them and wanted to say to them, trust in me. I gave you the natural victory. Now I will give you the miraculous victory. The miraculous hand of Hashem into their lives and our lives. So they got nervous. They couldn't find a new jug. And at the moment the oil should be running down, should be no more available, the light would go out, and there was no new oil to light again the next day, the menorah. But that one light kept burning, both day and night. Not only during the night, that was the time when they had to lit the menorah, but both day and night, 24 hours for 8 days long. 8 days long. 7 days for the menorah, for the 7 arms of the menorah, and one day for the miracle, the victory uh, in the war. If we look around at our personal lives and national lives, we also witness to some height miraculous events, but mostly we write those events to were natural events. Children are born, trees and plants grow, life continues. The Jewish people survive yet another attack and win another battle, and occasionally we take note of supernatural occurrences, as a couple that had a baby after several years attempting to do so. People are healed miraculously and they receive babies. Like me and my wife. For 7 years, we could not have children, and now we have 4 beautiful daughters. That's the hand of Hashem in our life. That's why we know that He is with us. That was His way of telling us that we had to fight in our lives our natural fights, like everybody, the circumstances and events that happen during your lifetime. But specifically, in being fruitful and bringing new life on the world through marriage is so much considered a normal way of of people even don't talk about anymore getting children or having children. They talk about making children. Let us make children. Do you want children? Yes, okay, so let's make children. We don't make children. We get children. We receive children from Hashem. So in our case, when for 7 years you could not receive children, the moment that the first child was born, our oldest daughter, was a miracle. And we were happy. And we thought after the first one, okay, Hashem answered our prayers and He gave us a child. But then the second came, and the third came, and the fourth came. Baruch Hashem. He was and is so kind for us. And every day we see those miracles walking around here in the house. It's like the jug of oil burning for 7 days. You look at the jug, you look at the menorah, you see it burning, and after the first day it still keeps burning. And after the second day it still keeps burning. And after the third day until the 7th day it keeps burning. Baruch Hashem. Hashem didn't forget us. Not in that time and not in this time. As we see, a lot of us were maybe doubting the last couple of years what will happen in this world and how will the prophecies will get fulfilled that Hashem promised. And yes, we have now our own Eretz Israel. We have our government. We are Zionist, and we fight for our existence still because our neighbors around us and also some neighbors close to us don't like us very much. And sometimes we ask ourselves, how long will this go on? When will Hashem decide that enough is enough? But we have to fight our natural wars. We have to defend ourselves against the rockets from Lebanon, against the infiltrations for Syria, against the attacks and the rockets from Asa. We have to fight those wars. But above all, in the last 3 years, 4 years, when one of the biggest nations of this world, the United States of America, decided through the President Trump to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And following him, other countries moved their embassy to Jerusalem. President Trump of the United States of America recognized the Golan Heights. He proved to be a very big friend and a very big blessing for Israel, a supporter, like defending Israel against all those other nations in the world. It's like the hand of Hashem. He gives us victory in the natural wars we encounter here every day. But he also gave us the miracle victory. He gave us protection, and Hashem proved through the hand of President Trump to the world that we exist and that Hashem didn't forget us. I don't know how the next 4 years will be, in the United States with another president, if that will be good or not for Israel. But we must know it's not the other countries, it's not the United States, and it's not President Trump himself who is giving us the miracle. It is Hashem giving us the miracle. And he is using events and people around us. And Hashem is telling us, Hashem is telling Israel, I didn't forget you. I decided to give you this miracle to make known to you that Jerusalem is the undivided capital of the world, of Israel. That Israel is the chosen people of Hashem, chosen to bring Torah, to bring the truth, to bring emunah to the world. To return to the beginning and our original question, says Rav Kook, what is the relationship between those miracles? The oil shows God's hand in history and our destiny. It serves to prove that Hashem was the worker of the miracle of the battle as well. To establish a festival, we require a supernatural miracle, and therefore the festival was instituted as a result of the miracle of the oil. But it is still fitting that we find time during the festival to thank and to praise Hashem for our military victory, natural miracles as well. During our prayers, we give thanks for the miracles, especially the winning of the wars. Hanukkah is the time to reflect on miracles in our present day, as individuals and as a nation. Hanukkah is the perfect opportunity to recognize them and to remember to thank and praise Hashem for all those miracles. That we notice, those that we notice as well as those that we take for granted. All of them together teach us that Hashem is intimately involved in our lives and is always there to guide and protect us. I wish you all Hanukkah Sameach. Enjoy the sufganiyot. Enjoy the latkes. Enjoy telling each other the story of Hanukkah. the story of the Maccabees, the story of the oil. And when I say story, I mean the history, what happened. But also try to think about the miracles that Hashem did last year for you and me, for us, for Israel. And let us thank and praise Hashem also for all those miracles he does and did during the last year. Hanukkah Sameach. Until next time, Leitrot, bye bye.